is what I'm on. A 24-hour reading vlog. What? Yeah, I try to get out here as fast as possible looking like a human. I don't know if it worked, because I look more human first thing in the morning when I first get up. It is 9:30, I just got up. I haven't even had coffee yet. So this makes no sense. Anyways, yeah, I thought that would match the vibe if we start with a 24-hour reading vlog. I'm not gonna go into depth every book I want to read, because what happens is I have like a list of 10, and then I read like 4, maybe 5. Which is great, don't get me wrong. But like then there's no point in me talking about all those other books, right? So I will just say the one that I do know I'm gonna start with is A Merry Little Meet Cute, just because it's due at my library in like 2 days. I could renew it, but it's a holiday romance, and holiday romances later. I say this, but I did read one in summer. The later in January. That's ends mixed to read it. But also I realized when I was deciding to read that next, I realized last year the first book I ever read was a 5-star, and it was a book like nobody knows about. And then I read the holiday romance that was the book club I run pick for December, and I just at like 1 a.m. hence why I'm exhausted. And I haven't made coffee yet. At 1 a.m. I finished my first book of the year, which I rated 5 stars, and is a book nobody knows about. Are you an itchy dog over there? And Merry Little Meet Cute is my book, the book club that runs, December book that I didn't read. It is a holiday romance. So I realized that, thought that was funny, so I'm gonna pick that up first. I say that the first like 5 minutes of this timer isn't gonna be me actually reading, because I have to walk the dogs, and it did snow a little bit last night. And so I don't want to be walking them with headphones in, listening to an audiobook if the plow and or sand truck comes up. I feel like that's understandable. Like the only time I'm not gonna be listening to an audiobook is I do things around the house, because there's like a bunch of things I gotta do around the house also. The only time I won't be listening to an audiobook at the same time is when I have to walk the nuggets. Because I do also I live in the middle of the woods. What if an animal comes up behind me? I don't notice because right? And so all that stuff, that should be everything we need to talk about. No, it's not. You know what we also have to talk about? I'm setting up the timer. Ignore me. We also have to talk about how normally for the past year, because of health reasons, I have not actually like I've slept during the 24 hours. And if anybody has an issue with that, they can fight me. But this time I've decided I'm going to actually stay up the whole time. And you may be like, girl, what are you on? This is what I'm on. This is, I think it's called Bloom. Thank my sister for this. These are energy drinks. That's what's happening. She was gonna buy Red Bull. And then for a 6-pack of Red Bull, I think it was the same price as a 12 variety pack of these, because it's like a new company, so they're on sale to try to get people to pick them up, blah, 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 blah. You may be like, there's one missing. I can only have half these. I feel like I should mention this. I can only have half these. I don't plan to have 6. There's 4 flavors. All of this flavor, which is strawberry watermelon, I'm allowed to drink, because my sister's allergic to strawberries, and then I can have one of the 3 other flavors. Now, there is one missing right here, and that's because, I do love my mother's hyperfixation with Moscow mules, because the little copper straws she got for them are the perfect size, one for cans in general, but also they fit through the hole of the can, so that if you like stir it up even, it doesn't like make that horrible sound. Oh my god, because our glass ones are much thicker. Anyways, god, I forgot how much I hate the flavor. Oh my god. Oh my god. Anyways, yeah, this one's open. Clearly. Essentially what happened is yesterday I had like 3 sips of it total, if that, which is why I put straw in, because it's been sitting open in my fridge for the past like 18 hours or something, since like 4 p.m. yesterday, 3 p.m. yesterday. So I put a straw in because that helps with the carbonation, and this is supposed to be a carbonated drink. Anyways, things I'll give it, it has fiber in it, that's good. It's one of those ones that's supposed to be like healthy for you. Is this, I suddenly feel like I remember seeing Swell Entertainment talk about this, and how it's actually another company trying to make a female version of their energy drink. I suddenly feel like I remember this. They didn't get my money, so I don't like it. I'm gonna anti-influence you on this. Yeah, I don't know. Okay, it has 180 milligrams of natural coffee. 0 sugar. I don't know how. I will talk about the taste in a minute, but I don't know how there's 0 sugar. And it's only 10 calories, so it's got apple cider vinegar, so it's got prebiotics and antioxidants and ginseng to help with your focus. I'm sorry. Does it say online focus without a crash? Let me tell you, I had 2 sips yesterday, and I was crashing. And I had to take another sip to stop the crash. And then by the time I was crashing, thankfully it was like midnight, and I just stayed up for an hour to finish the book I was reading. But like, I would like to refute that. Anyways, yeah, it's all like 0 grams a day, prebiotics, healthy for you, blah, blah, blah. I don't know how accurate that is, because, yeah, sure, but also, it's still a heckin' energy drink. Oh my god, there's now a recent section for timers? Well, I didn't save my 24-hour timers as recent, so I gotta do scroll again. Anyways, you know, flavor-wise, I guess I'll bring it on this now. I gotta switch to coffee. I also have mushroom coffee. That's another thing we can talk about at another point. This tastes like, I think, was it a Truly? I had one of those seltzers for the first time in June. And I remember I was talking to my sister about it, and I was like, hey, the flavor of this is if they took like 1/3 of a Red Bull, or not Red Bull, 1/3 of a Jolly Rancher, put in some seltzer water, and then threw in a little bit of alcohol, and went, goodbye. Was it a White Claw? Oh my god, it was White Claws. You know what? I should guess that because I was looking. It's I remember the white bottle. Anyways, now here's the thing about me. I don't like Jolly Ranchers. That's the one candy I don't like. You may be like, what does this taste like? This tastes like and this is why we get into the how does this have 0 sugars? Because it tastes like if somebody put 3 Jolly Ranchers in some seltzer water. I assume it's to cover up the caffeine energy drink flavor. So that's great. Love that. And by that I mean I hate it. I actually hate it. Right. The only benefit I can give it is that I made me drink so much more of my Circle water because I needed something to cover up the flavor. Speaking of Circle water, this is my mother's. I stole it from her. Blah blah blah. When I first tested it out, I put it on. I think it goes as high as 9 or something. Yeah, I put it at 9 just to see how strong you can get the flavor. And let me tell you, same amount of punch. I don't understand what they're doing here, and this is a lot because if you don't know anything about me, I don't have a sense of flavor or taste really. So if I'm going, what the fuck is this taste? It's so strong. You know it's strong. I don't. This is me trying to anti-influence you on this because I don't like it, but I'm gonna be drinking it this whole time. Anyways, I'm gonna go. We're gonna do this thing. I have many plans of things I need to do around the house in general, but also books to read. So let's start them at 9:41. Oh boy. The only good news about this is that once I walk the dogs tomorrow, I can go to bed. Yay. Alright. We have it set up for. This is the benefit of having a new phone. I can do it on another phone. It's on my iPad. 23 hours, 59 minutes, and 58 seconds. Ready? Resume. Because I accidentally hit start already. Okay, goodbye. I gotta charge this because this thing dies faster than my will to live. Good night. Yeah, I know. Look, when done. It is actually hot in here. I made it hot. What happened is I opened up that room and then turned on the fire for reasons. I just finished my second coffee, and I'm like a third of this left, so I've drinking a third. I may drink the rest of it before the next book, which I'm gonna say now I'm only gonna be reading for like an hour of Warbreaker, to film some read with me stuff. And I figured now would be a good time, 1, because I'm awake, and 2, the sun's up. So I'll read this for an hour to have one of those pre-filmed, and then I will switch to something else, probably audiobook, to get actual work done. I mean, the first hour I was doing social media work, and I was listening to the audiobook of A Merry Little Meet Cute while I could at the same time. But I, other than that, have literally just been playing one video game while I listened. And do I have the shakes from all the caffeine? Yes. I did eat a snack recently though. Thoughts and opinions. I think I'm gonna give it a 3.5. Actually, let me check something. Oh my god, the Light of 1,000 Suns. What did I rate Caught Up? I rated it 4 stars. Okay, let's do 3.5 for sure then for this one. The general reason is because they're both porn stars in the book, which apparently is an aspect of romance that I like. I don't know. Anyways, that's the only comparative book I have to this, so I was like, okay. I liked it. See, I'm struggling between a 3 and a 3.5 because I liked it. It was fine. It was a lot of them having sex, which that's what I just told you. That makes sense. Though it has very low average ratings, and so I was looking them up. Let me tell you, you're gonna laugh really hard when I go complain about these reviews because these bitches don't know what they're talking about. Okay. Anyways, this follows Nolan, who is an ex-pop star. He's been like working a day job since his career kind of crash and burn. First they're like a manager, like took most of their money and then left them in the dust. And then there was a lot of bad publicity with him being like the bisexual bad boy. They're both very bisexual. This is a very bisexual book. Okay. And his mother is bipolar, and so he is trying to support the family, pay for her meds, so that she can be regulated, take care of his younger sister who's still in high school, and she's like going to college soon and all this stuff. So he's like stressing about all this. So he gets a job, being the male lead in this small town Christmas romance. It's very Hallmark parody, right? B is an OnlyFans parody. Artist, right? The other main thing about her is that she's plus size, so it's like a lot with her having to do with the fact that people's issues with sex workers, but also people's issues with women who aren't size 2 and how they have sexuality. Imagine. So it's her dealing with that. Anyways, most of the crew and the main actress originally set for the movie all went to a Burning Man type like thing, and a walrus statue fell on them, and she's like in the hospital, and so the producer has to find a bunch of people to take all these positions, right? Now under a different name, he is the manager of a bunch of porn stars, but he's like trying to find other work as well because his daughter's going to college and paying for that is a lot of money. So he hires his own children. I think be his best friends with them. I don't know. But also like essentially most of the backroom set like type work is done by ex-porn star or or not even ex, but current working in the porn industry. Like the costume designer, that's normally what he works in. Makeup artist, that's what she normally works in. Like a bunch of stuff like this. And then calls up B, technically, I think that one of the other producers or something like that is all like, oh, what about her? Let's do her, right? And he's just like, so they like use a different stage name for her, and she's wanted to go into real acting. She's always had a crush on him. It was I think your typical boy band, like One Direction type thing, and that was the one she had a crush on. And he has subscribed to her OnlyFans for years, I assume, and is a big fan of her, so he instantly recognizes her and is really into her, as you can imagine. Listen, when I announced that this book was the winner for the book club in December, somebody said she had partially read some of it previously but had to put it down because time constraints, right? And mentioned something about gingerbread scented lotion, and I understand now. This man strokes it with so much gingerbread scented lotion, and I would like you to know that I'm questioning that. Not like using. I do question the fact that he does it in the shower with the lotion, and I don't like any girl would know that putting lotion on, which just reminds me to put lotion on because my eczema's acting up. Putting lotion on and then washing your hands is horrible experience. So I don't understand why doing that would be what he does. But also, the idea of using a scented lotion. Maybe I just have really sensitive skin, but I don't. Anyways, now let's talk about the main complaints, which is the fact that, or at least the main complaints I did after a quick glimpse, right? Is about the movie that they're making in general. Which the plot of is he's a duke from the past that has time traveled to the future accidentally. They fall in love, and whoop-de-doo. And the complaint that type of movie would never be made. I would like to remind people that, I guess, I don't know what the Christmas movies of 2025 were, but the height of Christmas movies in 2024 was one where Gretchen Wiener from Mean Girls fucked Frosty the Snowman. I reboot that, and then also, listen, everybody remembers the Princess Switch movies, but there was another one where there's a knight from the past who accidentally is cursed by a witch and is forced to time travel to the future, where he meets Gabriella from High School Musical, and who has a dead husband, I think, and they fall in love. And then, because he falls in love, he is immediately sent back in time. And people watch it. I think those are I think they're both Netflix ones. Also, can we please talk about how there was a Maybelline ad with the people from the Frosty one, the two main actors from the Frosty one, and it was like, that was so funny, actually. It almost made me buy actual makeup for the first time in years. Anyways, that is the actual holiday movies we're getting. I get that that's not really a Hallmark brand, but like, I think the point is like, it's not the typical Hallmark type movie. Like, they're kind of going out of their comfort zone to make a movie like this, and then when they learn that B is a porn star, and it becomes a big social media uproar, it becomes this whole big thing about that whole aspect, right? And then it eventually becomes this whole thing about how sex work and blah blah blah, all the stuff I already talked about. All that is like complaining that that's not realistic. But also, listen, I think the most unrealistic part is they are literally filming this like a month before Christmas, and it's supposed to come out on Christmas. I'm pretty sure, or after Christmas. I don't know why you would be releasing a Christmas movie after Christmas. It would, and I know they're filming it in Vermont, and as somebody who lives in Vermont, I know how the weather works, so it makes more sense if anybody is filming Christmas movies in Vermont. They are filming it either January or February, because you know there's going to be snow on the ground, but it's not during the holiday season. And then you have almost a whole year to do post-production for it to come out in December. It makes sense to do it then. I don't know, okay, because it's supposed to be a holiday movie or a holiday book, so it has to take place during the holidays. Like, he finishes filming just in time to go home with his family for Christmas, and meanwhile she has to still be filming. Like, that makes no sense to me. Anyways, we also have to add in the fact that, the other part that's super realistic, is when, so initially he, like, tries to continue to have the relationship when it comes out that she's going to, and all this stuff, and she does not like that. Like, she's like, I know that was initially the plan, but I want somebody who can love me out loud, right? Valid, especially since she has a history of this, right? So he goes on TV to tell everybody that one, their treatment of her online is horrible, but two, that he loves her. Right? And also, like, the whole entire being all in celebrities' lives, seeming like you have a right to it, and how that affected him when he was, like, a teenager to late tween, early 20s. And so, yeah, no, it was like that whole thing. And then, because of that, more people were excited to watch the movie because of it. Because the two main stars actually fell in love. And one of them is an ex-boy band member, and the other one is a porn star. Are you kidding me? If that happened in real life, we would never stop talking about it. That would be the talk town on the internet for at least 2 months. That is so realistic in my mind. Anyways, I liked it more than most people. And I don't know if I'm giving it a 3 or 3.5. Good news is, I got my hands on manga for 2AME. I just realized they're off the couch. They have been on this couch, the dogs have, this whole time. I'm going to stop filming now so that I can go wash that cover, because that cover needs to be washed. It's needed to be washed forever. But they never get off it. Anyways, that's my review. I don't think I'm going to continue the series. I don't see a point, because apparently it's a series. I don't see a point. It wasn't cute. Here's the thing. It wasn't really cute or romantic. It was just, like, them begging a lot and then being like, I love you. But, like, the actual stuff happening in the background was interesting enough, I guess. And it was very bisexual. I don't know. I think I'll go with 3. Maybe I'll go with 3. I think I'll go with 3 because that was my initial feelings. But then I was like, well, I feel bad because everybody's giving it 2 or 1 star because porn stars. I don't know. And that's dumb. So, that's how I felt when I read Into Darkness as well because that was like a thing everybody hated about that one. I was like, wait a second, no, it's actually good. I actually prefer this one. Anyways, I'm gonna go rate it 3 stars. I'm deciding 3 stars. I'm gonna finish this and then I'm gonna read or break it for an hour. Goodbye. Oh my god, did my dumbass literally just go and pick up my phone before I realized I forgot to tell you how much longer I had in the timer. We have 18.5 hours. Yes, it took me longer than I expected to read this book. Don't look at my Discord. 18.5 hours. Just over. Listen. I don't know what to say. Anyways. Hello, guess who has to feed the dog soon? Don't tell them. I have 16.5 hours left. I read, how many pages? I wrote it down so that I can do the math later and figure out how many pages and hours I read. I read 82 pages of this bad boy. It's interesting. Feels weird. That, as far as I know, the first book, that's dedicated to his wife, since their marriage, is the one in which a main female character is forced into a marriage with a god. And marriage assault is, like, sexual assault towards women in marriage is, like, a big theme in this book. Also, I don't understand the color magic. I know there's, like, a thing in the back that, like, is supposed to, like, you know, the glossaries, right? Or canon or whatever. This one, it's just, like, telling you how many breaths each person has. Apparently this character suddenly has 5,000 breaths. I don't understand. Also, the only, okay, I'm not gonna say the only character I like, because I do like some of the characters, right? Like, I kind of like Siri, but as you can imagine, reading her POV, because she's the one in the forced marriage, right, is a lot. So that's fun. And we get a POV from a god called Lake Song, that's his name. He is fine, I guess. It's interesting reading the POV of what's supposed to be a god, but he just hates everything. He hates everything, and he thinks it's all pointless, and he's not 100% sure he's actually God. He thinks, that, everyone's worshipping him, just because he accidentally came back to life, and doesn't understand the purpose of it all. So, like, it's this whole thing of what if a god doesn't have faith in themselves type thing, which is interesting, I guess. But the other main of the 3 POVs, I say 3 POVs, but Siri's sister is also a main POV. The other POV I really like is the guy with the talking sword. Hey, guess what? Guess who I haven't seen? That whole 82 pages, he wasn't in it. I really thought when there were 2 mercenaries sitting down with, Vivian, or whatever, Siri's sister's name is, I really thought when they were sitting down there, I thought it was him, and I was so excited, but it wasn't him, and I'm just sad, because he's the most interesting part, and he's just nowhere. Anyways, that's my thoughts and opinions on Warbreaker so far. I'm now over 20% in. I was 9% in before. If that gives you an idea. So, you know, let me tell you actually what chapter I'm on. I'm on chapter 14 now. Plans currently. I have to do some stuff around the house. I mean, you can tell, I did go throw this in the wash. So that's fun. Part of that is I had to get out my laundry, so I have to fold all my laundry. I want to quick vac, all the carpets and rugs in this house. I want to, I need to water the plants. I also need to unload the dishwasher. I haven't even done that yet, and part of, some of that is needed for, me to make dinner tonight. So I'm going to listen to an audiobook. I'm trying to decide if I should start a longer audiobook, right? Or if I should, just do a shorter audiobook, and then if I end up listening to another audiobook at a later point, I can do another shorter one. Instead of, like, worrying that I'm not going to finish this longer one, I can read these 2 shorter ones type thing. I decided the shorter one. Both those are non-fiction audiobooks, so love that for me. I'm going to start with Disability Visibility. So that'll be fun. So excited for that while I do all those menial tasks. And then afterwards, I'm going to pick up, what's the name of this book? The Worst Kind, which is a horror, paranormal mystery horror, right? It's about this girl, I think the medium, but her powers just started, and so she's trying to figure out, one, her own case, what really happened, who tried to kill her, the day that thing happened that caused her to have the medium powers, and to actually solve this other case, right? Because she's started to solve cases, that's kind of her thing right now. I'm liking the series. This is the second one in the series. Did I mention that? I'm on chapter 17. I started reading it last year, but I didn't have enough time to finish it, and I knew that, so I just stopped. But I'm gonna finally finish it. That is kind of my plan during this. I kind of want to finish it, because that's a Kindle Unlimited book I can return and whatnot, and I have 250 pages left. I'm 108 pages in, so that's 250 pages. That's still a good chunk of the book. So that's everything I plan to do. I'm also gonna go make mushroom coffee. That's the other thing. I've finished the first energy drink, and 2 normal coffees. I'm gonna go drink a mushroom coffee. So good times. Hello, I made chicken parm. It took a long time, and by long time, I mean so long that I've essentially read all of Disability Visibility. I have like 30 minutes left in the audiobook, which means 10 minutes. So I'm going to tell you my thoughts. I don't think the last 1, 2, 3 essays are gonna change enough for me to change my rating, right? Oh, here, I'll put my hair down just for you. While I wait for this to cool down, because this just came out of the oven. The pasta does not look very pretty. I used very old very old elbow macaroni. So, and then it just was sitting in the pan or pot for a bit. So, I know. But yeah, this took like many hours. Also, I would like everyone to know things happen on social media, and now I was asked to the idea of potato smut was brought up, and then they went, Rose, source it for us, and I did in like under 5 minutes, and I want to read that right now. I'm not going to because it's going to become a dedicated video, but I want to read nothing about that right now. And that's fine. I also kind of want to read a historical romance right now. There's one I could read. I want to read the Dear Celeste first, though. Anyways, we have 13 and a half hours left. I can do math, yes, or read. I'm giving it 4 stars, which is what I give most nonfiction like this. It's really got to do, like, it's really got to impact me greatly to be 5 stars. Like, a bell hooks, essentially. But it's good. I don't know what you expect me to say. It's, I don't know how many essays. It does not say, and in a synopsis, and you know how when you're reading an anthology, read an audiobook on Libya, and instead of saying number 1 or whatever, it just gives you the whole entire title and or the first like sentence of the essay. So I don't know how many, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30, 31, 32, 33, 34, 35, 36. Okay, there's 36 essays, 37 if you count Alice Wong's herself, which in the audiobook she actually reads herself. The rest of it is read by Alejandra Ospina, if I pronounced that wrong, probably. And it is, as you expected, it's a bunch of essays by disabled people, mostly women, talking about their experiences being disabled, especially if they intersect by being queer and or people of color, and how that affects them, and how, like, being a Black woman, being disabled, how you're treated differently, how you have to deal with the racism and the sexism, but also the ableism at the same time, and also medical aspects of that, I can imagine. And then, what was the other thing? Oh yeah, and then also, like, there's some stats information, like how disabled women are proportionally more likely to have been sexually assaulted. That's like a whole thing. And there's one in, I think one of the first ones, like the 3rd or 4th or something like that, is a Native American woman talking about how their land is used and that affects their health in general, not only like their practices, right? Their traditional dances, practices, eating, any of that type of stuff, but also affects their health overall, so then they die sooner, and then also they don't get the same medical care as a white person, and it's harder for them to get medical care in general, and so then you just hire a proportion to have a disability and whatnot, so that's a fun time. Anyways, yeah, it's all that fun stuff. Good times. I give it 4 stars, I think I already said that. I'm gonna go finish it really quickly, and then I think once I eat, I will read Dear Celeste. At least for a little bit. I also have a CJ or KJ Charles, is that the author's name? I'm very excited about that. That's a historical. Well, I don't know why I was like, I want to read a historical romance. I specifically borrowed one from the library yesterday. That's gay and under 100 pages by an author who's, I think at this point, my favorite queer historical romance author. It's 350 degrees. It just came out of a 350-degree oven. I got a photo of her trying to lick the oven door as I was checking the temp of the chicken. This heathen. Anyways, I'm gonna go eat my dinner. Still too hot. I'm gonna wait until my dinner's cooled down, and then I will eat my dinner, and I will talk to you more at a later point. Goodbye. Hello. What do I call this look? I just got out of the bath. I was awake here because it's almost midnight, and I thought I'd update you. There's under 10 hours left. I didn't tell you, while I was making my dinner, I made mushroom coffee. Sorry, my Kindle was starting while I was in the bath, so I was seeing if it charged. It did. That's good. Anyways, did I change into this? Just so for the thumbnail, I can use the photo of me going like this while wearing this. I swear, during a 24-hour video. Yes, instead of my baby Yoda pajama pants that matches these pants. Yes. Adulthood. Anyways, the bath kept me awake while I was in it. Now I'm not in it. I miss it. It was nice and warm. By nice and warm, I mean boiling hot. I like my baths hot enough where I'm searing my skin off. Other things that have happened. Did I mention the potato smut? I don't remember. I did take a little bit of a break because a friend's book came out today, which is a book that I was finishing at 1 a.m. And so I was hanging out on her celebration stream, blah, blah, blah. Hence the potato smut. Somebody, I don't know, I kind of know how the question of if potato smut exists came up, and then somebody was like, let's summon Rose and ask her, and someone DM'd me and asked me, and then I spent 5 seconds on the internet, and I found one. And it's a male impreg wolf shifter times potato shifter. And somebody said it's Idaho Twilight, and I want to read it so bad. I feel like that'd be a fun read. Anyways, I opened another one of these. I think I'm about my 3rd, so I've had a full one of these, 2 normal coffees, a mushroom coffee. I don't know how much how many milligrams of caffeine from that. I think soon what I'm gonna do is I am going to make there's this like the energy stuff you add to your water that my sister has for workouts and whatnot, and I'm allowed to drink it. Don't worry, I'm allowed to drink it mostly for if I have migraines, but I did check it. It has like 165 milligrams or something like that. 135. It's actually healthy energy. Also, I know from history of doing these, especially since I did do a 24-hour stream in October. It's not that long ago, right? I know for a fact that by drinking so much caffeine over a period of time, I don't stay hydrated the whole time, which that's another benefit of bath, because of bath I chugged like 2 of these. But yeah, it's supposed to help you stay hydrated. The blue water does. That's what we call it, the blue water. So that's part of the reason why, because if I don't, I'm gonna get a migraine tomorrow. I know this, and I don't need to make my life even more difficult. How many pages did I get? Oh my god, 1,000 suns. I know I'm just under halfway through with the worst kind. 168, I believe. Yes. So I have 190 pages left. I read 60 pages, but for the most that was in the bath, I'm gonna be honest. Me currently, remember to write down 250 if I finish this book. Anyways, oh my gosh, 11:59. How did that happen? My brain's sluggish, can you tell? Anyways, I'm gonna do that. We're getting to the issue where I want to cuddle my dogs. But if I'm to do that, I have to go into my bed, and I worry. The good news is that there's this thing called a wood furnace I have to fill up every hour or two. And my body's really good of waking me up when I need to fill it up. Just subconsciously. I don't know why my body's just like, wake up now, bitch. Go fill it up now. And it's just in time. Oh my god, it's so good at that. So if I do manage to fall asleep in bed, it will wake me up in an hour or two. So that's nice. Anyways, should I talk about the worst kind when it's just hit midnight? Let's go, baby. The worst kind, I think I mentioned that's medium-esque. Listen, I don't know how she did it, but she really wrote the marriage dynamic in this series. I haven't read any of her other books. So right like a week after I got my new library card, I did have 2 books that are part of another series of hers, the audiobooks, as like Notify Me on Libby, and then I get this new library card, and a week later they add them. I don't know if that was a coincidence. I assume it is, but that was funny. Anyways, the marriage in this really does remind me of the marriage of a medium, in which I hate it, and I need him to shut the fuck up and listen to his goddamn fucking wife. I could go into depth about how much I hate the relationship with the medium, and all this stuff. I really could. I'm not gonna do that to either one of us. Essentially, what happened is, in the past year, she was a victim of a hit and run. Recently, near the end of last book, the first book in the series, she learned that from like a bystander who watched it happen from her house, that the person purposely swerved into her. So now it's believed it wasn't an accident. And her husband just decided not to bring that up to her. Anyways, and she did die and then came back. She was in a coma for a little bit. She is dealing with chronic pain and disability in general. She can't walk the same. She has to have a cane with her at all times, just in case. She's in constant pain with her hip. Like, her hip bone would shatter, from my understanding. So, you know, great times. Now, apparently, in the universe, if you die and come back, you remember the experiences you had dying, and now when you come back, it's like you have an extra antenna. This is how it was just described in the book by another character, who's been through a NDE, near-death experience is what they call them. And where you're able to turn into like a new radio station type thing. She used to work in a pharmaceutical lab, essentially. So I think in the first book, she describes it as like, your brain always has the ability to process the information, but it doesn't turn on, but it's like automatically turned off. Like your body, it has like how your liver filters toxins, that part of your brain filters the dead and supernatural, but when you die and you come back, that part, it doesn't come back fully. And then oh no, now she can see ghosts. Anyways, since around her marriage, she has had this advice column. The first book, she decides to help this woman. She's like trying to get her life back, essentially, and feel useful again and all this stuff. So she tries to help this woman find her missing sister. It's this whole case, blah blah blah. This one is a woman who had a very abusive childhood. It is believed that her father, child sexual abuse, fun times, and possibly murdered her mother and then abandoned her. And they were never able to figure out who her father was, because he like lied on all the apartment listing information, right? And so they don't know what her real name is, who she really is, who her mother is, all this stuff. And then she was tossed around in a bunch of foster homes where more abuse happened before she ended up with this family that fosters a lot of kids, and they live in a commune. And that's where she learned the art of music and dealing like that helps her and whatnot. She's now married and just had a daughter of her own, and it feels like since then the buried down trauma of everything has come back, but also the realization that she would never leave her daughter made her realize like what happened to her mother even more. And so she contacts Celeste to be like, hey, and Celeste has personal experience because I think her mother abandoned them as well, and so she's all like, oh yeah, I'm gonna help you with that. So this book is her helping River figure out who her biological parents are, what her father did, what crimes her father committed, including if he killed her mother, and whatnot. There is this angry female ghost that is assumed to be her mother, but nobody really knows. But there's also like the fact that Jonathan is the worst, the husband is the worst, and she's trying to stay in her relationship, fix her relationship. He hates everything she does. I hate him. And then you know, a lot of his character is him complaining that she's changed, and he just wants her in their relationship to be the way it was. It's like, dude, she legit died. Suck it. She's gonna be different. She got like a tattoo and she started dyeing her hair a different color. And he's like, oh my god, you're a different person. Like, yeah, shut up. And quit her job. I also think he's like hiding money issues from her. That's another thing. I think he has something to do with it. That's my main theory. I don't know. Anyways, so there's that aspect. There's also her trying to figure out what happened to her with the accident. That it wasn't an accident. The attempted murder on her. But also her trying to figure out how to handle her new powers in general, which includes hanging out with other NDEs that have similar powers and having friendships with them and growing community. And I would like it to be known, there's an ex-cop that was in the first one who helped her first understand her powers, and I was getting a vibe. And I was, every single time Jonathan was horrible in this book, I was like, I just wanted to be with the ex-cop guy. And then there's a part where they were all at like an event, a group meeting for NDEs or something like that, and he had like a girlfriend or something, and she felt disappointed about it. And I was like, oh, I'm not the only one who wants to be together. Okay. Anyways, I have 9.5 hours left because I'm able to yap nonstop. I'm going to go finish that, and then I'll read a volume of manga. I may take a break halfway through reading this because, while I do like act of reading this, it is a lot. But also, I would like to thank whoever on Spotify made this great playlist of just banger classical music that really is constantly bopping, so like I'm not sleeping at all while listening to it. I need to put my headphones in and go back to listening to it. But yeah, no, that's what I was listening to. It's not match the vibes of the book at all, but it does keep me awake, so we'll keep it. Anyways, that's that. That's what this book is. I'm liking it. I think there's gonna be 5 books and the 5th one comes out this year. I don't know. I don't remember. But I recommend. The end. Goodbye. Oh hi. It's after 5 a.m. I don't know what the timer is. We got 4 hours left. I think that's just enough time to read a manga and the novella I want to read, which is great. I'm going to do the manga next. I know this because that will take me about 2 hours, and around 7:30 I will then feed the dogs, walk the dogs, and then make my breakfast. Because I know I'll need to eat breakfast. I normally don't, but I will, and I've been craving chocolate chip pancakes with lots and lots of butter. So that's what I'm gonna make myself. And while I make pancakes, I will read the novella. Dear Celeste, or not, well, yeah, it's Dear Celeste, the worst kind. 4 stars, which is the same I rated the first book. I fucking hate Jonathan. Listen, the excitement I felt in the last chapter when Harris, who is the ex-cop who she's close with, listen, ACAB, I get that. He's an ex-cop for plot reasons, just so that he has like connection to help her out with cases, right? Like every other police officer / police department in these books are completely useless. Like literally, I will talk about it in a minute when she is like the 2 of them versus the bad guy, and the same thing happened in the first one. It's so funny. Anyways, after that whole incident, right? Harris is on the phone with her, and she's like, thanks for caring. And he's like, I care a lot. And then like 2 or 3 pages later, she's home and hugging Jonathan. She's like, yeah, I'm leaving. Thank you. It's only for a little bit because, as expected, this whole entire situation, helping somebody else find their mom who they thought abandoned her, and then also the fact that when she died, she's pretty sure she saw, like, her mom abandoned her. I think I brought this up, right? Abandoned them when they were kids, and her dad won't talk about her at all. And she tried to talk to her brother about it briefly at one point in the book, and he hinted that he believes that their mom's dead, right? And she thinks that the woman she saw on the other side when she died was their mom. So because of that, she's decided she's gonna go to the town she was born to try to figure out where her mom went and what happened to her, which I know is gonna happen because that is the plot of the next one, and I did look it up. So I have to download Quicksilver and not the next one. I am kind of eating these up. Also, I should mention I have like a third of this left, and I did have the blue water. I'm at the point where I'm contemplating making coffee just to like stop the caffeine migraine later on, if that makes sense, or lack of caffeine migraine. But also, the amount that's left here is enough to be like the same amount of caffeine as a cup of coffee. So I don't know. I don't know. If I did it, I'd do the mushroom coffee because that makes me feel better instead of normal coffee. Anyways, gotta talk about the things I don't like why it's a 4-star and not a 5-star. Is the fact that it seems to be a pattern in these where at some point she just dumps a bunch of information on a random side character that she just met 5 minutes prior, and then they give her a bunch of information that helps her figure out the last little pieces of information, or like a good chunk of what she needs to figure out. And then that happened. That was like my least favorite chapter in the book. And then also the thing where like the person who hired her and the bad guy. I'm pretty sure the cloud was going up my road. It is nearly 6 a.m. I will give them that. That means I have to shovel. I'll do that right after this. Anyways, it's a thing where the person who hires her, and the bad guy are all in a room. Like, they have taken the person who hires her captive, and they're alone in a building, and she figures this out because of ghosts, and does call the police, and then goes in herself to try to help. And then it's like a thing where somehow the person who hired her is tied up or knocked out, and wakes up to hearing Celeste and the bad guy, talking because the bad guy's monologuing. Even in this one, he was like, I've watched all those crime shows about how like people monologue, blah blah blah, and then he's like, but I also love monologuing, and does it anyways. And then it becomes like a whole tussle thing where they have to band together to stop him, and then some police or fire truck shows up because she did start fire, and somebody called the fire department, and the fire department shows up like 5 seconds after they killed him. It's like, oh my god, seriously. And then the police are like, whoops. I'd stab a bitch. Anyways, this is just a thing that happens every single one, apparently. I say this, I've only read 2 of her books. But, I think that's happened. That's why ACAB, every other all the police are just bad at their jobs. I mean, there's a whole point. There's so many things. Like, they're so bad at their job. So, there's, like, at one point where the police almost arrested River for, a security guard at the grocery store, manhandling her, and her fighting back. Like, that. Like, the police aren't good at their jobs. It was described at one point in this book as they're either too lazy or too dumb to do their jobs. So yeah, it's very ACAB. We love that. I mean, I think I don't remember if the first one came out in 2024. I was gonna say last year. Last year was 2025. This one came out in 2024. But yeah, no. So they're all post 2020, so that would make sense. Anyways, I'm gonna get into a little bit of spoilers here, but we're gonna talk about my theory. So, the thing about her hit and run, that's also like I assume gonna be a big part of the next one. And listen, I had strong feelings that Jonathan, her husband, had a part to do with it. There's like this whole point where financials came up in the beginning of this book, and they're talking about how she doesn't need to go back to work, like she quit her job and all this stuff from before, and so she's all like, I don't need to go back to work, like we have plenty of savings. And he has this weird look on his face, and she just lets it go. She lets so many things go. And it comes to her husband. I'm like, oh my god, swear to fucking god. Anyways, so that's like a thing, and I just skip past the best part in this whole entire book, which is when they kill the bad guy. She kills him with the end, the like stick part of the guitar that was her mother's. She hit the whole guitar over his head and then it broke apart because of ghost powers. And then she took the stick apart and just stabbed him in the eye. Oh my god, I was laughing. That was great. Anyways, so I assumed he had something to do with it. Also because like, I don't remember. I think it was near the end of the first one when she learned that the person who hit her on purpose. He was there very fast, and I was like, that's a little weird. That's a little weird, right? And so he, I thought he was doing it for insurance reasons or whatever, right? And near the end of this, and then it's basically because of Harris, she learns who did it. She quickly lawyered up, but it's this woman she works with who she doesn't really know, and she's like, or used to work with, and I'm like, oh, he was having an affair with her. I swear. And I was like already screaming. I was like, if I was like, okay, best case scenario, he was having an affair, broke it off, she got angry, and tried to kill his wife. Okay, sure. But then, like, the last 2 pages is her finding all this evidence that he was cheating. But also, he slashed his own car tires, earlier this book, and that, she overhears him on the phone with a woman who hit her in a hit and run, telling her to say nothing to anybody, and all this stuff. Heavily insinuating that no, he had a part in it. And then it just cut black. I need to read the next one so fast, but I need to read Quicksilver, much sooner before I read this. Sadly, thank you, Plow. Is there anything else I want to bring up? I think the other thing I want to bring up is, only other thing I want to bring up is the fact of the whodunit aspect. Listen, I assumed it was going to be somebody in her circle. Like, the whole aspect is, like, it's something that happened, like, 20 years ago to her, right? But I assumed it was somebody in her circle, right? somebody she knew, somebody that was like in the book for a little bit beforehand and whatnot. But I did guess it in the first one, right? Not that early on, but I did guess it. This one I didn't guess it purely because I thought he was 20. I thought he was like in his mid-20s. I thought he was my age, and he was like 40 to 50 years old. And I just didn't clock that. And so that's why I didn't know it was him. Because if I knew his actual age in the book, when Harris went, I get a weird feeling I remember that guy, I'd be like, oh, that's him. That's that bitch. Okay, anyways, that's my thoughts and opinions. I'm gonna go read volume, I think, 35? Yes, of Readathon. Let's go. And then pancake time. Very exciting. Honestly, I read that much faster than I expected. We have just under 3 hours left. Oh. I was like so confused. Sometimes my watch just registers a timer at 7 a.m. I don't understand why. That was happening. We have just under 3 hours left, and I read Readathon volume 35. It was good. Maybe I'll have enough time to read 36. I think either way I will read 36 today. I just don't know if it will be in this or after I sleep some. But here's the issue with 24-hour vlogs, especially since like I'm gonna be ending around 9:30 a.m. Like I'm gonna sleep maybe 4 hours, and then I feel like I've done nothing with my life, except the fact that like I had finished 2 books today already, right? Anyways, 4 stars, which is I think my average rating for this series. It's good. I don't know what to say. It follows Yona, who, after witnessing her cousin murder her father on her 16th birthday, goes on the run and becomes the leader of legendary dragon warrior kings, gods essentially with superpowers. And then there's her bodyguard Hawk, who escaped with her. And their romance. That was my favorite part. Okay, in this one he was arrested and he was injured and they kissed through the bars. And he was like, give me your hand. It just holds her hand to try to stop her from stressing out. And then she's like stressing about the fact that he's injured, and so he kisses her, and I'm just saying there like, I love these two so much. It set up their romance for like 25 books, okay? Let me live my life. And also they're kind of separated right now. We don't need to talk about it. Anyways, also it ended with shirtless Hawk doing sit-ups. I see what you did there. I see. Anyways, the current arc is an arc I guessed in, I think it was September when I did my 30 books in 30 days video. Near the end of that, I read some volumes of this, right? And, I guessed that there was going to be an arc coming up where she is forced to team up with her cousin, right? And there'll be like something to do with like they try to control her, but also use her greatness as a ruler because she is good at it. As well to force an engagement between the two of them, right? I thought that's what was going to happen. That's kind of what's happening. Yeah, no, I really expected that to happen at some point, and then immediately happened to be the next arc. In which everyone assumes they're engaged, they're not actually, but everyone's assuming it. And part of the reason why is he's sick. He is actively dying. Right? And so there's like this whole thing where people are witnessing, like his people are witnessing, very much on his side, has been on his side this whole time, worked for his family for decades, helped him through this whole plan, like all this stuff. Are collecting. She's kind of really good at politics, and maybe she should be the next ruler. Like they have a plan for somebody to rule after him if he doesn't have an heir, and he doesn't plan to it. My assumption is because he's dying from essentially a chronic illness that passes down, but magic version, right? So my assumption is he doesn't want to get married and have kids because passing it on, right? It is a very painful disease, right? So he doesn't want to pass that on to his child and have the child have to deal with the grief of their parent dying, like he did. I get it. And so they have a different heir set up. I don't know who it is, for when he dies. But like, one of his very important people who like is in charge of a lot of stuff, it keeps on being like, throughout this book, it's like, maybe Yona. And he's like, no, I can't think about Yona as being a ruler. No. It's not like she's a princess of the kingdom or anything. Anyways, they're trying to stop the war from happening. Part of that is that, at the end of 34 there's like a delegation from this other area coming, and he's too ill to go, so she goes herself, and she catches them in a lie, like very early on, and then that's where it ends. And so this one starts off with the ending of that meeting, in which, she basically, they left her alone in the library for 3 days, and so she learned all the laws, and she really just throws them in their faces, and they're like, and she's like, you totally know about these, right? As like rulers, you know about these laws, right? Because I'm just a princess. And we're like, oh my god, how can a girl, let alone a princess, understand such extensive laws and all this stuff? And so funny. Anyways, blah blah blah. One of them dies of poison. They try to blame it on her. They're the ones that did to start a war. Blah blah blah. It's a lot of people, like all the knights, soldiers, all the soldiers, basically everybody in the castle It's like, oh my god, I can't believe they keep on saying Yona is the one who did this. Yona, like, oh my god, I can't believe she's a princess. A princess went poison somebody. I have actively seen her shoot somebody in this book, in this series. It's funny because like 100 pages later, it flashes back to one of those times, for like one panel, and you know, that was very funny. Yeah, no, Yona totally went poison because instead she would stab them. She's also being trained in sword fighting with Hawk, who is one of the greatest sword fighters in the country. So I think not. Anyways, there's this lady who is there for the delegations. She's like the main consort of the king of their area. But she also used to be a general, I think. And she happens to be related to Yona's cousin, right? And has a disease as well. And so they're like, oh, we gotta kill her because she has information about the king, we can't let it out. And Yona protects her, and then she comes across Hawk, shirtless in prison, doing sit-ups. The end. 4 stars. I don't know if I'll have enough time to read another one, but we'll see. I just saw the next one I'm about to read is part of a series. Maybe I'll read them. Anyways, next up, we're gonna do the queer historical romance by K.J. Charles, who is, at this point, my favorite queer historical romance author. I do really want to reread my favorite of his. It is upstairs. I own it physically now, thanks to my sister's boyfriend, and I want to read it again so bad. And I kept on putting it off to the new year. It's the new year. I can do that. Anyways, that's what I'm going to be reading. It's like 97 pages. It's a novella, apparently part of a series called A Thief in the Night. Apparently, one of them's a thief. The other one is an earl, and robs him. He's a highway robber, and then he accidentally becomes the man he stole from, gentleman. He seduced and robbed him all the way to get there to his new job, but he actually needs somebody to steal something. I don't know, this has just been on my radar forever, and it's really short, and it was available in my library, so I'm gonna read it. And I'm excited for it. And if I like it, I'll read the actual novels in the series at some point, possibly. The end. I'm gonna go shovel snow, and then feed dogs, and then feed me. Yay, I'm not done with this yet, by the way. My hair's a mess, and the timer's going off. Yeah, right when I was going to labeling it done on Fable. How many pages was that? That was 91 pages. I did find the first book, because it's like, I think the first book is about, okay, I literally just read the book. What are their names? Toby, the thief's siblings. I did add it to my Libby TBR, so there is that. That was 91 pages, so I can do the math in a hot minute. 4 stars. Like, I think everything I read today. Oh my god. 4 stars. It was good. Listen, it made me actually go up and grab this bad boy, my favorite K.J. Charles, because it reminded me a lot of the sequel of this, and this is my favorite of his, and it just made me really want to read this again. It's been like 6 months. It's fine. Anyways, I found an excuse to read it, so I'm gonna do that at some point this month. There's that. Imagine my surprise. I'm standing at the stove, waiting for my pancakes to be ready to be flipped, as I read the book on my phone, and I'm just like this, on that phone, but still, going like that, just scrolling along, 7 pages in, one of them's already on their knees. Okay, sir. Yeah, essentially, Toby is, you know what I love about K.J. Charles books? This is a thing that's in this sequel to Secret Life Country Gentleman too, where, because technically, what's his other name? Is it Miles? I feel like it's Miles. It is Miles. Miles is his boss, technically. It's very much like him being like, hey, like, even if he said yes, it's not a real yes, because consent, because I'm his boss. Like, I'm the one housing and feeding him, and the whole reason he's not living on the streets right now and has a roof over his head. So I like that. Anyways, yeah, they meet randomly, at like a pub or something, on the road, and Miles was a soldier. He got up to captain, I believe. And then, he comes home after the war, to find, like, days earlier, his father died of a heart attack, right? And then, so then Toby, gets on his knees, and then when he's asleep, steals his money and watch. Yay. Essentially, they're dealing with their own daddy issues. It's 2 men dealing with their daddy issues while making out a lot and searching a house for a necklace. Essentially, then Toby has an opportunity, to go to this, estate, with a valet. Then they show up, and the house is falling down, literally. And so the valet, I had to get out of there. He goes to pretend to be the valet, but whoop, Miles is there, and immediately he's like, bitch. They make a deal that, Toby will help with the process of cleaning out the house it's basically a hoarder's house at this point, and he won't get paid, but he will, because like he stole his stuff. So he'll be like working off what he stole, but he will feed him and house him, right? And he's all like, but what will the Duke say, or Earl? Is it Earl or Duke? I don't remember which one. It's like, oh, which one? What will he say? Shouldn't you ask him? And he's like, oh, haven't you heard? I am him. Right? Dogs are behind me. Essentially, he did a lot of gambling in his youth. His father disowned him, said he would never have the family fortune. And then that's when he joined the military. Has been clean of gambling for 4 years. Has like actually grown up. Did good in the war. Got captain of his own accolades, like didn't have to pay for it or anything. And so his dad's like actually proud of him, right? They're cleaning out the house. Toby's dealing with the fact that his dad was abusive and a drunk, and caught him with another man at one point. That's when he ran away, right? And then they learn that his dad actually was proud of him and was excited to see him again. And there's like this whole thing where he blames himself for not being there for his dad and all this stuff, because clearly he was going through something mentally. And he did help, but he wasn't there because of his own mistakes previously. And then Toby finds a letter that he was in the middle of writing to him, saying that like he misses him and to talk to the lawyer and blah blah blah. So he goes to the lawyer to learn that his dad said that he would never have another cent of the family money again. So instead he sold everything and turned it into a very expensive necklace to give to him instead. That's so funny. That's so funny. Right. And then the lawyer goes through more paperwork to find the like actual paperwork and be like, hey, this is the necklace I had made and bought. Right. And also there was also a bracelet. The necklace was 60,000 pounds, which, oh my god. And the bracelet is 4,000. And then the magistrate, who happened to be like his dad's best friend, essentially blackmailed him for the bracelet. And then he essentially he blackmailed an aging, not mentally well old man who had a heart condition and was dying, to give him a 4,000 pound bracelet. I don't even want to think about how much that costs nowadays. Oh my god. And give it to his wife, and so they make up a plan to steal it, and things happen, and they're happy together forever. With a plan to go find Toby's siblings. I wonder if that's what the second book is. Anyways, 4 stars. I need to do math. I read. Okay, right. It should be easy. What's 19 plus 3? It was 22 hours of audiobook. But only 8 of that was not dual reading. The actual pages could be more difficult. I actually got to do the math. 1,040 pages. Woo! Woo! That's how much I read this. 24 hours. Let's go. Fun times. Plus another 8 hours of audiobook. If you ignore the audiobook amount, that was just me dual reading. Anyways, that was fun. I'm gonna go to bed. Should I shovel snow? Yes, but again, I went out there. It was still snowing, and there were 3 inches, and it was very heavy. And I should shovel other people's snow, but hear me out. It's still actively snowing. I'm not gonna. There's no point in me going up and doing it until it's done. So I'm going to go to bed, and when I wake up in like 4 to 5 hours, we'll see if it's done. Until then, or until later. Goodbye. I'm so tired. Can you tell? This is my favorite part about this, where I can't figure out what my own outro is. I rated every book 4 stars. We love that for me. Good night. No, wait. I rated the Merry Little Meet Cute 3 stars. That's right. I remember this now. Listen, I decided officially to go with 3 stars because it was 425 pages. Why was it 425 pages? In what world does a contemporary romance need to be over 350, 375 max pages? Good God. I hate it because there's so many I know that are like over 800, like over 600 even. And I'm just like, I don't... Why? There's no need. Anyways, that's everything. I'm gonna go to bed. Plans and stuff, things and stuff, videos. There's going to be a video of me reading arcs if I ever actually pick up any of the arcs I have. So I don't know if that's actually gonna be next week's, or if next week's gonna be me reading the All He Wants for Christmas is Fingerlings. That sounds like a really fun book to read right now, actually. So I'm gonna choose to do that first. Those are Saturdays. Wednesdays are gaming videos. I know this week's, which is today's, is a cozy game, and it's also gonna be next week's. Yay! That's all done and edited. We love that for me. That's Wednesdays. They're slightly edited down versions of me gaming on streams. I game on stream, but I also read on stream and do co-working and all that kind of stuff. I don't have a set schedule, but like almost every day I stream. So that will be in the links below. That's everything. I'm gonna go think about reading this book. It haunts me. There's just like 50 pages in this, and it's like some of my favorite book ever, like of all time, and it's just so good.